I have a confession. I'm a casual player. And I hear some of those screaming into the void that Amazon is catering to scum such as me and ruining New World. Well, Amazon Game Studios, ruin it you have, because I love New World. I've been longing for a new MMO for years. And after hearing the description of Amazon New World moving away from open world PvP, I thought New World might be my game. And now I'm pretty certain that it is. I just finished playing New World Preview, and it was a lot of fun. And I think I can go and blow off my steam in a tournament for as much as I want, for as little as I want. I can level a little here, make some crafts here and there, sell stuff on the auction house, gather, PvP. There are a lot of things to do. And I think that while I understand that New World needs more content, even right now, I could spend months progressing my character in the different aspects that interest me. So New World, know that you are enough for me. And devs, feel free to go ahead and make it more than enough. So, this is a review, and I wanted to say what I really loved about New World. Well, surprisingly, I loved the combat. I played World of Warcraft for a long time, as well as other tab targeting MMOs. And I thought that was my thing. And not that I was ever great at combat or great at combat now. But I thought that New World's action combat might be the reason that I might not like it. But I was wrong. I find the combat challenging and interesting. With only 3 moves to use, it's not so overwhelming trying to remember how they all interact and execute the rotations. And the strategy of using and actually hitting the moves is fun in New World. And then you add dodge and block into that, and the combat to me is engaging. But at the same time, not so frustrating that it's not worthwhile. I've played with sword and hatchet in depth so far, and I enjoyed both. And another thing that helps make the combat fun is the variation in the AI for the mobs. While I've only experienced a few different areas and creatures, the combat styles of the mobs were varied enough for me, and it presented a challenge at level. So when you find a new mob, you have to figure out what the strategy is. And that provides a challenge, certainly, that made me want to improve my skill to be able to overcome those mobs. With tab targeting, I found that killing mobs was always either too easy or it seemed too hard. Nothing in between. But I think New World has hit a sweet spot for me on that. Gathering and crafting are as complex as I'd hoped. I like to craft. Unfortunately, I didn't spend a ton of time doing it in these 2 previews, but I did enough to know that I want to do it more. There are numerous recipes to level. There's a complexity to the crafting. I didn't really get to it, but I know there are multi-levels of you've got to craft this to craft that. So lots to explore there, and I'm looking forward to it. I can envision myself also doing a lot of gathering kind of by itself. That was fun, just to look around and try to find new items and gather items in mass and gather rare items. And while the map isn't the biggest, there was a lot of ground to cover, so I thought that was fun also. My last favorite part of the game is that New World is just beautiful. I really just like looking at the game. The characters are attractive, the environment is amazing, the sunsets are beautiful, and I loved putting my character in different places and just taking pictures. The artists have really done a good job with New World. So, what can be improved? Still quite a bit that I can see, but not so much that I wouldn't start playing tomorrow if they'd let me. But here's a wish list. Mounts. Even with just a small boost, it would just psychologically make me feel better. And I think it's needed. More quest. I got a little lost at level 12 and didn't actually make it to the next town to continue the storyline because it was a long way away and I was working on my fighting style, so I kind of got stuck. More varied quest. A lot of them are the same in my experience so far, and I got tired of searching for those boxes, so I definitely need to mix it up. More lore. I'm a writer, and I want to know more about the story, and I didn't feel like I got that in the playtime I've had. More invasions. I played Rift and really liked the invasions, and I don't anticipate I'm going to be a big war person, and probably not going to belong to a big company. But if little invasions pop up over the map, all over the map, I can still go to places and join in and get rewarded based on my contribution to the effort. So, different invasion opportunities would be great too. Maybe something for people that are solo like me. Just a little thing to pop up here and there, and if you can defeat it, you get some great loot. Mounts. Save my boots. More crafting items in the wild. Like I said, I like to gather, and I have a small sample size because I only went to 2 different territories, or maybe 3. But I wanted to find more rare things. So, and I know they're supposed to be rare, but you can still put enough stuff out there to be carrots to really go out and just search. More recipes. I'd love to see something like the old Warcraft recipes way back when, where they were drops and you had to learn the recipe. And that made those recipes that you had to do that with a little more special. And I'd like to see something like that in the crafting system so that it's not just you reach a certain level and you get these recipes. Maybe something that's kind of random like that. More gear and costumes. That's probably something that's planned. There wasn't a great variety in the preview, but everybody kind of looked the same generally, and I'd like to see more variation in the gear. I'd like to see more RNG in the recipes. And I know a lot of people don't like that, but I think that would, if you can hit it big and get a really awesome piece, I'd like to see more of that. And granted, I didn't get into the higher level crafting. I know that there you can't add Azoth and get that, but I'd like to see it even in the early stuff too. That's just something that attracts me in crafting. My next suggestion is animals. I like animals. I'd like to see animal husbandry in the game. Pets. Animals are cool. I saw some buffalo toward the end that I really wanted to raise. So give me some animals. And let me say again, mounts. They're great for a cash shop. Casual players love farming. Give us some farming. I'll raise some crops. And for God's sakes, give us mounts. So it took me about 50 hours to get to levels 14 and 20 between the stress test and the preview. And that is much more than I would normally play in a 14-day time span without the time limits that were on these trials and the pandemic at large. And those were the levels that I got to without really trying leveling, crafting, or housing. So I think even though I know it needs more content, there is a lot to do in New World that you can progress. And that's what I like about MMOs is being able to set goals and progress through levels. That makes it rewarding. So I think keep up with that, and there are some really great elements to this game, and I'm sure they're only going to be built upon. So Amazon Game Studios, I hope they're taking their time, really building on all the great things that are already there, and adding new content to keep everyone engaged. And even the PvP players, give them what they need so that everyone enjoys this game and it can be successful. In the meantime, I'm going to be waiting in the wings. I'm writing my New World story called Eternity Begins. Link in the description. And I'm looking forward to when this game actually comes out and I can spend some time away from adulting, reducing stress in Eternum. Thanks for watching. Dig deep.